Hi everyone, welcome back to another one of my videos. Today I'm going to be starting a series of videos concerning CVS in particular. CVS is such a great shop to get savings and get great deals every single week, and I think that if you haven't already managed to grab any great deals in CVS, you should seriously start, like now. I shop the most frequently with regards to couponing at CVS. It's just one of those stores that I can count on every single week to get at least a few deals, if not a lot of deals. And you will have seen from a lot of my CVS hauls, even the ones that I've just already uploaded in the past week or two, that I've managed to get some great savings over the past couple of weeks. I think if you add my shopping trip totals together, I've probably got about $300 worth of free retail value product just merely in the last 3 weeks alone. I started CVS couponing in around June this year. I very slowly kind of got myself into it, and up until this point I've saved around about $1,200 to $1,300 on beauty products and personal care products that I've managed to pick up at CVS just from the middle of this year. So it's something that is very easy to get into if you know the basics, and these videos that I will be producing over the next couple of weeks will be really touching on those really basic things that I encourage all of you to know, even if you coupon then you don't already know them, because they will help you in the long run. And it definitely serves to be up to date and have a lot of research in the coupon policies and the kind of the general store rules where you do coupon, because if you do ever kind of hit on a problem or have an issue with the register, then you'll be kind of well educated in being able to deal with that and find, you know, the best solution for that particular problem. So this series of videos is going to be touching, like I said, on the very basics of shopping at CVS. I am going to be doing this series in relation to other stores such as Walgreens, Rite Aid, Target, Walmart, etc. Obviously there's probably a few shops near where you live that may differ from mine, but I'm going to try and touch on all of the major ones where I personally coupon at and where I know a lot of you coupon at. So today we're going to be kicking it off with a video regarding the 98% rule at CVS. A lot of people will argue that, you know, it's not in their coupon policy, so it doesn't exist. Yeah, I believe that it used to be in their coupon policy. Now it's not really mentioned in the coupon policy, but is a general known rule across all of the CVS locations that I've personally shopped at, and I know anybody else who does coupon at CVS personally makes use of this 98% rule. And so I think to know about it is definitely a good thing. It definitely does exist, and I do believe that if it's not working at your store, that needs to be addressed. I don't see why it should kind of be available at most or the majority of other locations, but you're having an issue with it at your store. That doesn't really seem fair. So let's get stuck into it. I'm going to try and make this as simple as possible so that there is no confusion over it. I know I touched on it a little bit in the intro about what the 98% rule is, but I kind of want to break it down right to the very basics so that there is nobody that is confused, because when we start couponing, the worst thing that you can be is confused, because it's going to make you not want to coupon, and it's going to make it seem like couponing is this overwhelming thing that you just you can't deal, you know, it gets too much for you, you get overwhelmed by it. So when I'm talking about the 98% rule, and some of you won't like it to be called the 98% rule because you don't believe that it's in writing as a rule, but I'm going to call it the 98% rule for the purpose of this video, because it basically says what it is, and it's just really easy to refer to that term, because when you hear it you pretty much know exactly what I'm going to be going on about. So when it comes to the 98% rule, this is what I'm on about. So when we receive the CVS circular or the weekly ad that comes out every week, there are a lot of promotional deals. Well, CVS, I guess, use that method of advertisement to promote their promotional deals, if you will. Their sales, their sale prices, buy one get one free, buy one get one 50% off, that sort of thing. But kind of sporadically mixed around or sporadically inserted into this promotional advertisement of the weekly ad are a lot of extrabuck or extracare book deals. And what I mean by that is the ones where it might say spend a certain amount and you'll get a certain amount of extracare books back. Those are the ones that we're concerned about. We're not concerned about the ones where it says maybe buy 2, get 5 extrabuck care books back, or buy 3 of these, get 10 extra care books back. we need a specific threshold of money to reach to be concerned about the 98% rule. And so we are literally on about those deals where in the CVS ad it says spend $5, get a certain amount back, spend $10, get a certain amount back, spend $25, get a certain amount of extra care bucks back. So that is all we are concerned about, and that's making it so simple. So when you see that ad, the 98% rule should pop into your mind whenever you see a certain amount that's needed to be spent to get a certain amount of extra care bucks back. And that's as simple as I can make this, so that it kind of instantly jumps into your head that you need to be aware of the 98% rule anytime you see a deal where the 98% rule is concerned, where there is a promotional deal concerned with spending a certain amount and getting a certain amount of extra care bucks back or ECBs back. Okay, we got that. So to make this a little bit simpler, as with all my videos, I am going to go over a few core examples which I believe come up time and time again, and so you will be able to, they'll be fresh in your mind when you see the the weekly ad this week, so that you can even kind of see, oh yeah, she mentioned that, it's in here this week. So I am also going to be actually giving you deals that are in the weekly ad this week, so that they are kind of they're real examples, if you will, and they are also kind of up-to-date examples, so you can kind of not just have to go off what I'm saying and apply it to your own deals or what you see in the weekly ad this week, but for this specific week, if you are watching, you can instantly go to your weekly ad and see, oh, that was mentioned on Savvy Steph's couponing video, I'm going to try and, you know, get a good deal out of that, or if I do take part in that deal, I can apply the 98% rule to this deal. Okay? If that makes sense, I hope it makes sense, and I hope it's not too confusing so far. So, the 98% rule, it's pretty much as it kind of sounds. We don't have to spend that threshold of money, so we don't have to spend $20 to get 5 extra care bucks. We don't have to spend we don't have to spend $10 to get 5 extra care bucks back. We don't have to spend $25 to get 10 extra care bucks back. Okay? That's where we are mainly concerned about this 98% rule, is the spend amount of how much you actually have to spend to get a certain amount of extra care bucks back, okay? So, when it says spend $15 to get a certain amount back, or whatever value you have to reach to meet that threshold, we don't have to get exactly at $15. Yes, it may seem obvious that we can spend over this amount. So if we spend $15.49, or we spend $15.49 over a $15 spend threshold, or we spend $27.50 on a $25 spend threshold, that might seem obvious to us that of course we can spend over the threshold. If we've spent over the threshold, we've met that threshold and gone beyond it, so of course we're going to get the extra care bucks back. But what I'm talking about with the 98% rule is that we don't have to spend 100% of that threshold amount. So we don't have to spend $15. We can spend 98% of that $15, or we can spend 98% of $25 threshold spend, or we can spend 98% of a $5 threshold spend. You basically just have to apply a calculation to the amount, or the supposed amount you have to spend, to work out what 98% of that amount is worth, and that becomes your new spend limit. It's a 98% rule per se, because obviously it just makes it so much more easier for CVS to advertise in their deals a single easy to remember number, like spend 15 instead of spend 14.70, right? So it's a 98% rule because even though it's not there in writing on the ad, they allow a little bit of kind of maneuvering room. You don't have to spend exactly that amount of money, which is great for us, obviously. And this, because this rule isn't kind of advertised as much, or not necessarily advertised at all, to be quite honest, it is a good thing to be made aware of this, because there's been a lot of deals that I've shown on my CVS hauls or in my shopping list where I've mentioned about that 98% rule, but some of you might be confused about it, or in general you just might have always thought that you had to spend at least that amount that's kind of in print, in writing, to get your extracare books. So the first example that I'm going to show you is one that you will have seen in both my last 2 CVS hauls. So this should be fresh in your memory anyway because you've seen it before, and it was also included in my shopping list from last week as well, which I put up on Sunday. I'll be putting up another video again this Sunday as well. In fact, this video will be up a little bit later. So if you want to see my shopping list for this week, go back and see my video that I posted on Sunday or Monday night, and I'll also leave it linked in the down bar below so that you can get a quick direct link over to that. I'm going to do that every week from now on, where I post my shopping list before I actually do my CVS haul, where I've personally gone out to the shop and bought the items. And so that's just something that's really easy for you to kind of look through, take that information to the store, take screenshots or print elements out from the video, and that should make it easier for you to shop at the same time as me, so that you don't have to wait until I've gone shopping, edited, uploaded the video, etc. Okay. So this is an example that you have seen from me in the past 2 weeks, and so it's a really good example for me to show you because these are all easy. There's nothing difficult about finding out what 98% of the total is. As long as you either know basic maths or you have a calculator or a phone with a calculator, then this is such an easy calculation to just kind of carry out in the store. Okay, so this is one of the first examples, and I'm going to put that link, the calculation, in the down bar below, and I'm also going to explain it at the very end of how I've calculated the 98% of each of these spends. So the first one concerns Physicians Formula. Now, in the first week that I showed this deal, I bought this BB cream here, and I also bought this Magic Mosaic in last week's haul. Now I'm going to touch on this one. This Magic Mosaic was $14.79, and I did have a little insert video in my last CVS haul where you saw me directly at the Physicians Formula counter, and I was actually going over the totals of what these were coming out to and which ones could be included in the 98% rule for that particular promotional offer. And so this one was $14.79, and this, I believe, is one of the products, this is the Magic Mosaic, where it literally comes just within that 98% of $15 spend. So for the Physicians Formula, just to go over it again, for the past 2 weeks we had a spend $15 on Physicians Formula, and it included anything from Physicians Formula range, get $10 back in extracare books. Now that's a fantastic deal. I don't need to go into how much of a great deal that is. That's great. That's an extortionate amount of extra books to get back for spending $15 in the first place. We're getting, basically, I don't know the exact maths on it, but we're getting a lot back just for spending a certain amount out of pocket. But we don't have to spend the $15. We only have to spend $14.70 to get this deal, and $14.70 happens to be the 98% of $15. So I was able to pick this up because this was $14.79, and so that obviously falls within a 9-cent difference from the 98% rule. So 98% rule allows us to spend $14.70 or more, even though we've got a threshold deal in writing of $15, and this was $14.79. So I had no problems. This was scanned at the register, and then my receipt came out, and this gave me the $10 extra bucks back. So great deal, and also a fantastic deal because it meant that I'd been wanting to try this Magic Mosaic for a while. This is a bronzer, I believe. Yeah, it's a bronzer. But at $14.79, if we didn't have the 98% rule, then I would have to buy something else from Physicians Formula to be able to bump my total above that $15. If you've shopped Physicians Formula before, you know that most of their products, well, I would say all of their products, are at least $11 to $12 or more. So if I wanted to try this included in the deal, I would have to buy something else, and even if I bought something else at the lowest kind of price that Physicians Formula offers, I would have to be adding about $11 onto my purchase price. So $11 plus $14.79 already is around $25 to $26, and then I would only be getting 10 extra care books back on that, and that would mean that I wasn't getting a great deal at all, because I'd either have something that I didn't want to use or I didn't necessarily need in the first place, and I wouldn't be getting that many extra care books back for the amount of money that I'd had to spend in the first place. But because we have this 98% rule, it means that I can get a great deal on something that I want to try out, and I don't have to kind of find a filler item just because. So this is the first example, and I hope that you've been able to follow that. So the next deal I want to talk about, I don't have everything with me because I actually donated the Schick razors that I got from this deal to my father-in-law, so I don't have those razors with me, but it's another simple deal to go through, and so you shouldn't really need those to be shown, just to kind of get the grasp of this. So this is concerning the Schick razor deal that I believe was on the week before last. Now I had a bit of an issue before that, on this deal, but I'm going to come to that at the end because it was nothing to do with the 98% rule. It's a little rant in terms of kind of the experience of the cashiers and the managers in the store, whether they actually are aware of their own coupon policy, and sometimes, unfortunately, the knowledge is a little bit subpar, and you do have to be well educated. I guess this is another reason why you do have to be personally well educated, so that if something like this does happen, that you can calmly explain it to them, and so that they can be either educated on it, so that if it does happen again, that they are aware of it, or if there is a problem, so that you actually don't, I guess, kind of follow your own words and find that what you're saying doesn't even make sense or doesn't make you look confident enough. If you look confident in the knowledge that you have, or if you are confident in the knowledge that you have, that should come across and be portrayed to the other person, and they should be, I guess, a little bit more happier or a little bit more assured that what you're saying is actually true, and that will probably give them the nudge to be able to kind of go and look it up and get it sorted out for you. Hopefully, anyway. That's what kind of that's what the best result would be. So this particular deal, like I said, is on Schick razors, and when it was on deal, and I believe it's on deal again this week, so this is a perfect one to be able to kind of use this week when you personally go shopping at CVS to carry out your deals. And this is the spend $25 and get 10 extracare bucks back, and this is concerning Schick razors. It can be any non-disposable Schick razor, so this is on proper non-disposable razors, not your disposable cheap razors that kind of hack your skin apart. This is on proper non-disposable razors, so any 1 count razor, any cartridges or refills as you might call them, and it also included either Skintimate or Edge shaving cream as well. So as long as you accumulated enough of these items to reach a $25 threshold, you would receive those 10 extra care bucks back. Now I personally bought 2 1 count Schick Quattrum titanium razors, and the reason I bought these was because they were the cheapest out of pocket, and instead of having to buy say 1 really expensive razor and then make the rest of the total up with these Skintimate shave gels, I was able to buy 2 non-disposable razors and also get 1 thing of shave gel. Now you can work this deal however you want to work it. I mean, if you want loads of Skintimate shave gel, you could have literally just bought shave gel in this deal to get the 10 extra care bucks back, but I wanted to make it so that I could have a good mix of items that I wanted. I always like to get razors when I can, especially non-disposable ones, and I already have a ton of shave gel, so I don't need any more shave gel if I can help it. I guess in this particular case, I used the shave gel as a filler item. The cheap razors came to $11.79 and $11.99 respectively, so that was about $24. When I added one of these Skintimate shave gels, these were $3.50 at the time. It brought me to a total of about $27.50, and obviously personally I exceeded the threshold that I needed to get to, and so that was perfect. But for you, if you, like I said, if you want more Skintimate shave gel, or you're low on shave gel, or you would prefer a different razor, so you might want to, you might have a preference for a more expensive razor, then you can get that more expensive razor, and you may just fill the difference from how much you've spent to the threshold of $25. You could just fill that with maybe 2 or 3 bottles of the shave gel. So it's whatever works for you, whichever way you can kind of work the deal is up to you. And also take into account your coupons. You don't want to be buying a load of Skintimate shave gel. I guess you would have to buy almost 7 or 8 shave gels to be able to meet the $25 threshold, but then you're left with only being able to use 4 identical coupons, so you wouldn't be able to get as much money off as if you bought a couple of razors and mix and match the deal with the razors and the shave gel, if that makes sense. That's another thing I'll be touching on in another video anyway, so that I don't waffle on in this one as well, like my other videos. So the point is, obviously, I went over the $25 threshold. I spent about $27.50. But if you're in a pickle and you do this deal a little bit of a different way, then you don't have to spend $25. You can spend 98% of $25. And 98% of $25 actually works out at $24.50. So you might have found that you bought a more expensive razor and you thought, well, I can't get another razor to make that, make that difference up. I'll have to get another bottle of, I'll have to get a bottle of shave gel. But then you might have thought to yourself, oh, well, that only brings me to, that only brings me to 24, this is hypothetical by the way, this might only bring me to $24.75. Oh, I don't want to buy another, another product because that's going to bring me way over my threshold. You don't need to worry because $24.75 would be included in the 98% rule because it is above the $24.50 threshold that applies when you do the calculation and work out what 98% of $25 is. So that's perfect. That's another deal, like I said, that's coming up has come up in this week's weekly ad at CVS. So the next deal that I'm going to talk about is one that actually very regularly comes up, or very frequently comes up in the CVS ad every single week, but you will find that sometimes that the items that are included in the same promotional deal do differ somewhat. So obviously, they make it really easy to understand which items and what sizes of items are actually included in the deal, and you just need to make yourself familiar with the items that are actually included in that deal. So this week we have an example of this deal. It is again in the weekly ad itself. And this is a spend $20, get 5 extra care bucks back. And in this particular deal, it's not focused on one product or one kind of brand. We have a mixture of different brands. So I've got it wrote down here that the items that are included in this week's deal with the spend 20, get 5 is Tide, Downy, Tide and Gain Pods, Bounty, Charming toilet paper or toilet tissue, and Dawn dishwashing soap and puffs, which are obviously the tissues. And all the prices and everything will actually be included in the weekly ad. If I can, I'll just put a little picture. Well, I'm going to try and do that with everything in this video, but just so that you can visually see from the weekly ad kind of exactly what it looks like, I'll just insert an image either here or at the very end. So on this particular deal, like I said, Dawn might be included, there might be Charming, that sort of thing. So on this one, it's spend 20, get 5 extra care bucks back. And obviously now we know that we don't have to spend $25. We can spend 98% of $25, and 98% of $25 is $19.60. So however you want to work that deal, as long as the items within it, which you choose, add up to $19.60, you can get that 5 extra care bucks back on your receipt. So that's another really simple example for you, and I guess it's becoming really obvious where we're going to go in these next couple of examples, but I do want to mention just for the fact that they are mentioned in this week's CVS weekly ad, and this might help you out. So let's move on to the next example. So the next example is concerning Glade and Ziploc, and we very regularly find that these two products are included together within the same kind of promotional offer. I believe that's because they are kind of all covered by the Johnson & Johnson company. I'm pretty sure they are, I know Glade is, so I think that's basically why they are covered in the same promotional offer, but they are anyway. I'd say sometimes candles and Ziploc bags, quite different. I think sometimes Hefty's included, I'm not quite sure. But anyway, yeah. Glade and Ziploc this week are on offer that if you spend $12, you will get 3 extra care bucks back. Again, we don't have to spend that $12, we can spend 98% of that $12, which this week would allow us to spend only $11.76 or above to be able to get that 3 extra care bucks back. And the very last example is concerning Colgate. I believe it's Colgate Total in particular. So if you combine any of the Colgate Total products and spend $10, you will get 5 extra care bucks back. I really recommend that you take part in this deal. I know I've got personalised coupons this week for mouthwash and toothpaste. And we also have, I can't remember what else we do. We have But anyway, we know that we're going to get $10 back. We know that we're going to get $5 in extra care books back anyway. If I combine just my personalised coupons that I got this week, and I know yours might differ from mine, but if I took into account that 5 extra care books and the $2 from those 2 coupons, that's $7 anyway that I've saved from $10, and so I'd be getting at the very least $10 worth of product for the equivalent of $3. I don't know whether there's any coupons in this week. There's probably some on coupons.com anyway, and I know there's those coupons that I mentioned from last week's video that I linked that were specifically for Colgate Total Repair. So I know there's definitely 75-cent coupons floating around for the toothpaste, and obviously in my shopping list I'm going to go through this in more detail, so I'll find those coupons and everything for you that then, and so you'll be able to put that deal together, or at least look at the deal that I've chosen to go with and work it out, modify it with whatever coupons, personalised coupons, etc. that you have got. I definitely recommend you do take part in that deal. Obviously, again, we only have to spend 98% of that $10, which actually comes to $9.80. You know, really close to $10, but if you kind of mix and match those products together and you find that you're just under $10, then you only have to spend at least $9.80. So this is a really helpful it's a really helpful rule per se, because obviously, you know, if you're in a pickle, like I said before, and you just can't manage to combine items that you need or that you plan on getting to get to exactly that threshold, it just is another way of helping you save money and helping you kind of get to that threshold without kind of punishing you just for spending a few cents less. So I hope these examples have been of use to you. I just wanted to touch on that issue that I said before about the Schick razors. Now, with the Schick razor problem that I had a couple of weeks ago, that wasn't a problem with reaching my 98% threshold. Like I said before, I did reach the 98% threshold. I obviously went well over it at $27.50. The manager and the cashier seemed to think otherwise for some reason. They agreed with me that I had spent $27.50 and that they couldn't really give me a reason as to why it hadn't printed out, but they told me that it must have had something to do with the coupons and personalised coupons that I'd used, because if I hadn't have used coupons, if I hadn't have used personalised coupons, then I would have reached that limit, but because I'd used coupons and personalised coupons, it had actually apparently not given me the $10 extra care books back, which is obviously a load of rubbish. I knew that. I think they were just kind of a little bit wary about printing that 10 extra care books back off as a courtesy, because it was like, or as a courtesy gift. I'm not going to call it a gift because I deserved the $10 back, but you know, it's a little bit risky for them because they don't want to print such a large extra care book back if they don't know, I guess, what they're doing, or if they think that maybe you're just trying to get more money out of them even though that's not the case. I don't know. Who knows anyway. I do think we run into a lot of times where the people that we deal with at checkout aren't necessarily knowledgeable or want to be knowledgeable about coupons, even though these stores promote couponing, especially CVS, because it is, you know, specifically in their advertisement, you know, here's where you can cut the coupon from, etc. That, you know, I do think that sometimes these cashiers, etc., should be educated a little bit more on the usage and the legalities of coupons, just to make it simpler for us as shoppers. At the end of the day, we're paying, you know, we're paying money in some form or other at these establishments, and so I do think it's kind of in their best interests to educate their staff as much as possible. Anyway, there's my little mini rant, but what I just wanted to kind of clarify is that with that particular deal, where it was all solved and everything now, I did get those 10 extra care books back. I just had to contact customer services like I explained in another video, but I didn't want you to think that that was because I spent under the 98% that was a problem. That was literally because one of the products I found out in the end that it was because one of the razor packs was actually apparently not registered by the system as being part of that deal, but it was part of that deal, and so that was all solved. I just wanted to touch on that to clarify it for you if you'd seen my other video and had kind of missed out that had been solved. So again, I really do hope that these examples were of use to you. It's really simple, I guess, to say, oh, just calculate 98% of the total, but unless you actually see kind of real life examples and you can see for yourself how you would step by step carry that out, and kind of what you would have to think about when you are shopping and putting these deals together. You know, I just think it's a little bit more helpful if you do have the real world examples. So again, I really hope this helped. If it did, please give me a thumbs up. It really means the world to me. I just want to thank everybody for watching my videos over the last couple of days. It really means a lot to me. If you have any questions or anything like that, if you need me to clarify anything from this video or any of my other ones, please leave me a comment below. I'm really happy to get back to anybody and to help you in any way. And I hope you have a lovely hope you have a lovely night again, a lovely week, and I hope to see you in my next video. Bye!